Hello. Good afternoon, all of you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Prajakta. Okay, let's start. I'm sharing my screen. In last sessions, just a minute. In last sessions, we have seen the serializability as well as the recoverability. Types of serializabilities are the conflict serializability as well as the view serializability. Yes. So if the where we have to check the whether the schedule is serializable or non-serializable to maintain the consistency. If it is a serializable, whether it's a conflict of view serializable, we have to check that one by applying these two methods. And there is a sometimes non-serializable schedule also theirs. It may or may not be in a consistent state. So there are two types of non-serializable, that is the recoverable and non-recoverable. Again, in recoverable, cascading schedule, cascade-less schedule, and strict schedule. These are the different types. Okay. So here, the next point is testing of serializability. Testing of serializability. Sometimes the problem is given in the exam that checks whether the given schedule is serializable or not. So how to check that one? Sometimes in a exam, the problem is given that checks whether the given schedule is serializable or not. So how to test that one? So that is nothing but the testing of serializability. Serialization graph. To test the serializability, we are using the serialization graph, and it is used to test the serializability of a schedule. It's a graphical representation. So for that, first of all, assume a schedule S. We already learned the concept of the serializability. There are two types of serializability, conflicts as well as the view serializability. And if specific schedule is a conflict, we have to fulfill the particular specific schedule fulfills the conditions. That is the conflict operations. Three operations are, which are those? Hope so you all are remember that one. Same there is a operations which is in a different transaction, but two transactions are working on a same operation, same data, and in that data one of them is the right. This is the rules for the conflict schedule. Then and then we can, it's called as a conflict schedule, right? And if it is a to check the view serializability, then we have to check that schedule is a view equivalent or not. If it is a view equivalent, when we call specific schedule is a view equivalent, if it is a initial read, then initial update as well as the final write. If three conditions are fulfilled by that schedule, then that schedule is a view equivalent, and if it is a view equivalent, then that schedule is a view serializable. Okay, so here specific schedule is given and we are drawing precedence graph on that. And after drawing that precedence graph, we are testing whether it's serializable or not. See, to understand this concept, testing of serializability, you all are aware about what is serializability, types of serializability, and how to test that one. How, what's the condition for that? Is it? Then and then you can somewhat understand. Okay, so that's why I revise these things. So assume a schedule S, and for S, we construct a graph known as a precedence graph. Yes, this graph having a pair, graph G in bracket V, comma E. Here V is the set of vertices and E is a set of edges. Then V here set of vertices is used to contain all the transactions participating in the schedule. This is the precedence graph. In data structure also we are using the graph. In that no vertices and edges are present over there. Like that in testing of serialization, we represent the transaction participating in a schedule, which is represented by the node, circle, and the set of edges. The set of edges is used to contain all the edges. Ti derives Tj. Ti derives Tj. How in between two vertices we are giving these edge? If there is a dependency, just last session we have seen the cascading schedule. See over here, T1 and T2. These are the two transactions. And after writing of A in T1, T2 reading the A value, means T2 transaction depends on T1 transaction. Is it? If there is any kind of dependency, then we can drawing an arrow. Okay. It contains the edge between Ti to Tj. Here T1 to T2, like that. See, so here are again there are steps for the precedence graph. As I discussed now, we just discussed the for each transaction T. 3 ट्रान्झॅक्शन असतील तर 3 नोड्स येतील, 3 व्हर्टायसेस असतील, बोथ आर द सेम थिंग्स. 4 असतील तर 4 येतील, लाईक दॅट. In for each transaction T, put a node or vertex in the graph. ही initial step झाली आपल्याला. For each conflicting pair, if there is a dependency, that is it's a conflicting pair. Put an edge from Ti to Tj. There is a second step. This one is the second step. And third, if there is a cycle in the graph, then the schedule is not conflict serializable. Okay. So let's see the example. Is there any doubt in this theory? See, to test the serializability, we are drawing the precedence graph. That graph contains the number of vertices and edges. Here, vertices represent the transactions and edges represent the dependencies between two transactions. That's it. If is there any doubt, I will repeat one more time. Yes, is there any doubt? Hope so. There is a no doubt. Now, see over here example. In this way, the transaction scheduling is given in exam also. And saves as checks whether the given schedule S, here this is a schedule S, which is serializable or not, which is V serializable or not. So if you see this schedule is carefully, there are 4 transactions, T1, T2, T3 and T4. Okay. So we have to draw precedence graphs. So quite obvious now you are aware in that graph vertices represent the transactions. So there are 4 transactions. So in our diagram, there are 4 vertices are included. This is the first step. Then we have to find out the dependencies. Now we know if the schedule is conflict serialized, then surely it's a view serializable. हे पण आपल्याला आपण बघितलेलं आहे. मी तुम्हाला पुण्या आणि तुळशीबाग याचंही एक्झाम्पल दिलं होतं की सपोज तुळशीबाग हे कॉन्फ्लिक्ट सिरियलायझेबल असेल आणि पुणे हे व्ह्यू सिरियलायझेबल असे असेल तर तुळशीबाग इज अ पार्ट ऑफ पुणे but it's not vice versa possible. Pune is a part of, it may or may not be a part of Tushibag, like that. Conflict serializable asel, it's surely view serializable asel. But view serializable आहेच म्हणजे conflict असेल असे नाही. So let us check whether the given schedule is conflict serializable or not. So for that, first step is what? List all the conflicting operations and determine the dependency between the transactions. So see over here now. Here, first in T1, read operations get performed, and after that, write operations. In T2, again read, T3 read, T4 read. So there is a this is the non-conflict one. Read, non-conflicts. No problem. Now, next, W1 of B. See over here. Here, W1 of B and W2 of B. Means after writing B and T1, it's get updated in B2, in T2 also. So there is a dependency. Okay, T1 derives T2. That is, T2 is dependent on T1. Like that, here T1 and T3, this is also dependent because T2 after writing of T2, it's updated in T3. So indirectly it's also depend on T1. And this one also again depend on T1. So T2, T3, T4, all 3 transaction depends on T3. And in now transaction T2 performing the write operation on B, after in transaction T3 performing the write operation on B, and after that one. So over here, we can say is that T3 is also depends on T2 and T4 also depends on T2. Like that, here again T4 also depends on T3. So in this way we are finding the dependency. We are finding the conflicting operations. See, conflicting operations आहे की नाही हे फाइंड आउट करण्यासाठी आपल्याला 3 रूल्स अप्लाय करावे लागतात. ओके, देयर शुड आपण जे 2 ऑपरेशन्स मध्ये कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग फाइंड आउट करते तर ते 2 डिफरंट ट्रान्झॅक्शन्स पाहिजेत. मग इथे T1 आणि T2 डिफरंट ट्रान्झॅक्शन्स आहेत, ते सेम डेटावरच ऑपरेट होत आहेत की नाही हे पाहिजे. येस, दोन्ही सेम बी वरच ऑपरेट होत आहेत. येस, म्हणून सेकंड कंडिशन पण फुलफिल झाली. आणि थर्ड काय आहे की त्यापैकी एक ऑपरेशन हे राईट पाहिजे. इथे तर दोन्ही आहेत तर काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, बट वन ऑफ देम इज द राईट ऑपरेशन. येस, या तिन्ही कंडिशन्स फुलफिल होतात तेव्हाच आपण म्हणू शकतो की T2 depends on T1, and for that draw the arrow from T1 to T2. Are you getting? Students, are you getting what I am explaining? We have to
Yes,
find
ma'am.
we have to find the conflicting operations that determine the dependency between the transactions. So here we are completing the our step 1, finding the dependency between the transactions. So there are total how many dependencies? 6 dependencies are there, and 4 transaction. That's why 4 vertices. So draw the precedence graph for the same. So here T1 derives T2. So we are drawing arrow. First, draw the 4 vertices for 4 transaction, and after that, draw the edges. T1 to T2. Yes, we are drawing the edge over here. Just a minute. T1 to T2, first one. Then T2 to T1 to T3. Yes, there is again we are drawing the edge. Then T1 to T4, third one. Yes, here is the edge. Then T2 to T3, then T2 to T4, and at the end T3 to T4. Is it? So see this diagram carefully. Is there any cycle is present over there? Cycle. Everyone know the concept of the cycle, hope so. Looping cycle. So cycles means if you are going from T1 to T2 to T3, and if suppose there is an arrow again from T3 to T1, if there is an arrow from T3 to T1, then T1, T2 to 3T, that is nothing but the cycle. But in this diagram, there is a no cycle, there is a no loop. Okay, so therefore the given schedule S is a conflict serializable. Thus, we can conclude that the given schedule is also view serializable. Okay, in this way you have to solve the question. Okay, to testing of serializability. Okay. Now come to the next point, that is the concurrency control. So concurrency control, we know now the concurrency execution means 2 or more transactions executing parallelly, they are overlap, there is a overlapping, then that is nothing but the concurrency executions. Now we have to control that concurrency executions. So concurrency control is the working concept that is required to controlling and managing the concurrent execution, okay, of database operations, and thus avoiding inconsistency in the database. Thus, for maintaining the concurrency of the database, we have the concurrency control protocols. Is it? Concurrency control आहे म्हणून डेटाबेस आहे. एक लक्षात घ्या की नुसताच डेटाबेस आहे, तुम्ही व्यवस्थित ऑर्गनाइज केला आहे, बट तुम्ही जर तुमच्या नीड्स नुसार प्रॉपर फेच नाही करू शकला, मेंटेन आणि नाही करू शकला, तर देयर इज नो यूज. सो हाऊ टू मॅनेज, हाऊ टू मेंटेन दॅट वन, this is because the concurrency control. Then concurrency protocol. So for that, there is a concurrency protocol. The concurrency control protocol ensures the atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, and serializability of the concurrent execution of the database transactions. So there are basically three categories of the concurrency protocols. First one is the lock-based concurrency protocol. Sorry. First one is the log-based concurrency control protocol. Next is the timestamp concurrency control protocols. And third one is the validation-based concurrency control protocol. Okay. First, understand the concept of the what is the concurrency controls, why it required. It's a working concept required to controlling the and managing the concurrent executions. And it is required to maintaining the concurrency of the database. Okay. And there are three basic categories of these protocols. These are the clock-based, timestamp, and validation-based. Just note down these points. Let's see. First one is the lock-based protocols. As the name suggests, lock-based protocols, there is some kind of lock. We are locking something to maintain the consistency, to control the transactions. Which are those? In this type of protocol, any transaction cannot read or write data until it acquire an appropriate lock on it. Yes, this is a protocols, nothing but the rules and regulations. Here we are applying that rules and regulation on our transactions. And when we are applying the log-based protocols on this specific any transaction, we cannot read or write data until it acquires an appropriate lock on it. We are applying the law on reading or writing the data. Okay, means for example, why it's required. Most of the time, Book My Show, everyone, the Book My Show website, to reserve the seats online movies, you are using that one. If you see the front end of that while opening, then you can see the availability seat, and whichever is the reserve one, they are come in a blur. You cannot select like that. But whichever the seats are available, you can select that one and book that one. Okay, after okay, so like that, means you are blocking your seat over there. आणि ऑलरेडी जे ब्लॉक केलेलं आहे. सपोज तुम्ही एक सीट त्यामध्ये बुक करत आहात आणि सायमल्टेनियसली दुसरा युजर सुद्धा बुक करत असेल, सो व्हॉट टू डू, एक सीट 2 जणांना अवेलेबल होते का ऍट अ टाइम? नो, एका वेळी एकालाच होते. हा, मग ज्यांनी आधीच प्रोसेस स्टार्ट केलेली आहे तर त्यावेळी दुसऱ्यासाठी ती लॉक होऊन जाते फॉर सम अमाऊंट ऑफ टाइम. इज इट? तुम्ही एखादं सीट बुक करत असाल बुक माय शो मध्ये, तर काही 10 मिनिटासाठी अज्युम करा की 10 मिनिटासाठी ती तुमच्याकडे होल्ड होते. आणि जर तुमचं ट्रान्झॅक्शन सक्सेस झालं, इफ यू पेड मनी सक्सेसफुली, देन दॅट सीट गेट रिझर्व फॉर यू. बट मीन वाईल जर ट्रान्झॅक्शन 10 मिनिटं झाली जरी पण आणि सक्सेस नाही झालं तर काय होईल? ती अगेन इट्स अवेलेबल टू अदर कॅन्डिडेट्स टू. लाईक दॅट मीन्स काही वेळास पुरतं तुम्ही ते लॉक केलं. इज इट? सम काइंड ऑफ ऑपरेशन्स परफॉर्म विदिन अ डेटाबेस. हा पण एक डेटाबेसच आहे, डीबीएमएसच आहे. बुक माय शोचा पण जो काही आपण आहे ते बिहाइंड दॅट डीबीएमएसच वर्किंग आहे. लाईक दॅट, in this type of protocol, any transaction cannot read or write data until it acquires an appropriate lock on it. There are two types of lock: shared lock and exclusive lock. होप सो तुम्हाला जनरल लॉकिंगचा कन्सेप्ट समजला असेल. सर त्याच्यामध्ये 2 टाइपचे लॉक आहे. शेअर्ड लॉक, इट इज ऑल्सो नोन ॲज अ रीड ओनली लॉक. शेअर्ड लॉक, लॉक बेस्ड प्रोटोकॉलच्या अंदर 2 टाइपचे लॉक्स आहेत, शेअर्ड अँड एक्सक्लुझिव्ह. shared lock असेल तर it's a read only lock. In shared lock, the data items can only read the transactions. It can be shared between the transaction, because when the transactions hold a lock, then it can't update the data on the data item. See, जे काही शेअर्ड लॉक जर आपण एखाद्या डेटावर अप्लाय केलंय तर एन नंबर ऑफ युजर्स ते ऍक्सेस केलाय. येस, इट्स ऍक्सेसेबल, but only for read purpose. They are not able to update or they are not able to write on that. So this kind of lock is called as a shared lock. This is also known as a read only lock. Okay, we can share the same data at the same time but for read only purpose. Then exclusive lock. In the exclusive lock, the data items in the both reads as well as return by the transaction. This lock is exclusive, and in this locks, multiple transactions do not modify the same data simultaneously. Okay. So that's why it's a exclusive lock. So there are 4 types of lock protocols. Simplistic lock protocol, pre-claiming lock protocol, two-phase locking protocols, and strict two-phase locking protocol. So first one is the simplistic lock protocol. In a simplistic way of locking of the data while transactions, means simplistic lock protocols allows all the transaction to get the lock on the data before insert or delete or update on it, and it will unlock the data items after completing the transaction. See, इथे काय होतंय, सिम्प्लिस्टिक लॉक मीन्स काय होतं आहे की एकाने जर एखादं डेटा होल्ड केलाय, रीड करत असेल, तर बाकी अदर्सना जोपर्यंत त्याचं रीडिंग, रायटिंग, इन्सर्टिंग, डिलीट, अपडेशन होत नाही, बाकीच्यासाठी तो लॉक राहतो. Others users can't be accessed, other transaction can't access that data, and after completion of the work, it will unlock the data item after completing the transaction. सिंपल आहे. एखादं सीट तुम्ही रिझर्व केली असेल तर जोपर्यंत तुम्ही ती रिलीफ नाही करत आहे, रिलीज नाही करत आहे, तोपर्यंत ती तुमची झाली. आणि आफ्टर तुमचं काम झाल्यानंतर तुम्ही जेव्हा ते रिलीज करता तेव्हा बाकीचे ऍक्सेस करू शकता. दॅट इज अ सिम्पलिस्टिक लॉक प्रोटोकॉल. Now second type of lock is the pre-claiming lock protocol. Pre-claiming lock protocols evaluate the transaction to list all the data item on which they needs lock. फर्स्ट म्हणजे काय होतं की प्री क्लेमिंग म्हणजे आधीच आपण आपल्याला जे हवे आहेत तर त्याच्यावर आपण क्लेम करतो, आधीच इव्हॅल्युएशन एक्झिक्युशनच्या आधीच आपण लॉक करतोय. So before initiating an execution of the transaction, it requests DBMS to all the lock on all those data items. If all the locks are granted, then its protocol allows the transaction to begin. And when the transaction is completed, then it releases all the locks. If all the locks are not granted, then this protocol allows the transaction to roll back and waits until all the locks are granted. सी इथे प्री क्लेमिंग लॉक्स मध्ये हे आहे की सपोज तुम्हाला 5 सीट्स रिझर्व करायचे आहेत, इन जनरल सांगते, आणि ते 5च्या 5 जर सिक्वेन्स म्हणजे 5च्या 5 जर अवेलेबल असतील, देन अँड देन ही प्री क्लेमिंग लॉक प्रोसेस तो डेटा लॉक करून पुढच्या प्रोसेस करतो. इफ सम डेटा इज अवेलेबल अँड सम नॉट, जो रिक्वायर्ड आहे तो इट्स वेट अंटिल इट गेट granted and apply the lock on that, and after performing the operation on these 5, we are taking the example of 5, आणि मग नंतर त्याच्यावर ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म केल्यानंतर तो रिलीज करतो. सो this is the in this way we can perform over here operation. That's why it's called as a pre-claiming. If all the locks are not granted, then this protocol allows the transaction to roll back. म्हणजे 5 पैकी 4च झालेत, एक जरी नाही झाला तर ऑल द ट्रान्झॅक्शन जे आहे ते रोल बॅक करतो. वेट अंटिल द लॅक्स इज ऑल द लॉक्स आर ग्रांटेड. ओके, सो दॅट्स व्हाय इट्स कॉल्ड एज अ प्री क्लेमिंग लॉक. Now, third type is two-phase locking. It's also called as a 2PL. The two-phase locking protocol divides the execution phase of the transaction into 3 parts. आपण सिम्पलिस्टिक बघितला, नंतर प्री क्लेमिंग बघितला, तर आता टू फेज लॉक बघतोय. येस, त्याच्यामध्ये 2 फेजेस आहेत, बट हे ट्रान्झॅक्शन 3 पार्ट्स मध्ये डिवाइड केलं जातं. In first part, when the execution of the transaction start, it seeks the permission of a lock. For the lock it required, it seeks the permission. जे काही त्याला प्री लॉकिंग मध्ये आपण जसं ज्यावर आपल्याला लॉक अप्लाय करायचे त्याची परमिशन तो घेतो. In the second part, the transaction acquires all the locks. The third phase, it started as soon as the transaction released the first lock. म्हणजे पहिल्यांदा it takes the permission whatever the on which data we want to lock or perform the lock operation. Second transaction मध्ये जे काही आपल्याला ट्रान्झॅक्शन्स करायचे आहेत आफ्टर लॉकिंग दॅट, ते परफॉर्म करतो. आणि as soon as third phase जेव्हा स्टार्ट होती, and in the third phase the transaction cannot demand any new locks. म्हणजे जे काही आपण आतापर्यंत लॉक केलेला आहे डेटा, तो रिलीज करायचं काम हे थर्ड फेज मध्ये होते. Means first locking, perform the operation and release all the locks. In third phase we are not demanding any lock. We are releasing first all the acquired locks. So is the why it's called as a two-phase locking? Because in these there are 2 phases, that these phases are the growing phase and the shrinking phase. What is happen in growing phase? In the growing phase, a new lock on the data item may acquired by the transaction, but none can be released. Yes, we are just applying the locks on the data. And in a shrinking phase, existing locks held by the transaction may be released. जे काही आपण एक्झिस्टिंग ट्रान्झॅक्शन मध्ये लॉक्स केलेला आहे डेटा तो रिलीज केला जातो बट नो न्यू लॉक्स कॅन बी अक्वायर्ड सो दॅट्स वाय ग्रोइंग वी आर अप्लाइंग द लॉक्स shrinking we are releasing the locks. So in the below example, let's see if lock conversion is allowed, then following phase can happen. First one is the lock attained when transactions begin. Here we are upgrading of a lock from shared to the exclusive. S of A is nothing but the shared to exclusive. There are two types of locks, shared and exclusive. That is nothing but the upgrading lock. And it's allowed in a growing phase. We are upgrading shared lock to the exclusive lock. So that's why it's called as an upgrading lock. And here downgrading locks. That means again we are converted exclusive to shared, and this is must be done in a shrinking phase. Okay. First, where lock is attained, perform the transaction, and add we are releasing that one, and it is happening in a shrinking phase. That's why it's called as a two-phase locking. Okay. See the example of 2PL over here now. Here T1 and T2, there are two transactions. In this, what is the locking and unlocking process is going on? First in T1, in a growing phase is step 1, 2, and 3. This is the growing phase. Okay. And shrinking phase is a 5, 6, 7. Though here we are writing from 0 to 9, it's a total 10 steps. So this is the step 1, 1, 2, 3, or you can say that 1 to 10. Okay, so at 0 step, that is the step 1. Okay, and here from step 5, and here the lock point is at 3. And in transaction T2, step 2 to 6 are the growing phase. Here, after shrinking phases from 8 to 9, and lock point is at 6 over here. Okay. So this is the 2PL example. Is there any doubt in locking?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So here the last one is the strict two-phase locking. In the first step, the strict 2PL is similar to 2PL only. Means we are growing phase is there. The only difference between 2PL and strict 2PL is that strict 2PL does not release a lock after using it. It does not release the lock. And strict 2PL waits until the whole transaction to commit. And then it releases all the locks at a time. See, 2PL मध्ये growing and shrinking phase होती, after use of that data we are releasing that one, but in strict 2 phase we wait for the commit operations. Until and unless there is a no commit command, we are holding these locks. So that's why it's called as a strict 2-phase locking. And strict 2PL does not have shrinking phase of lock release, and it does not have cascade about as in 2PL does. So there is a little bit difference. Starting phase is the same. Okay. So this is all about the lock-based protocol. Okay, we have seen these 4 types of lock-based protocols: simplistic, pre-claiming, two-phase locking, and strict two-phase locking. See, concurrency control is the one of the most important point in the DBMS, as well as the test of serializability. याच्यावर क्वेश्चन्स येतात concurrency control as well as the test of serializability वर. So be prepared for the same. Okay. We will stop today here only. CR of the board division, please share the screenshot of the attendance. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
A division CR, are you there? Hello. Is there anyone from A division? Please share the screenshot of attendance. No one? Hello. Are you there? A division?
Yes, ma'am.
Please share the screenshot. Okay.